Hello and welcome, I'm Mundane Failure, and this is Arena Cube Draft. Let's play. Alright, pack one here, we got a Time Warp. Pretty great card. It's probably the best card in the pack. We've also got some removal, a Board Wrath. I think we're just going to take this Time Warp though. Other cards to note: Mikaeus is a good build-around card for a +1/+1 counter deck. Erebus' Intervention, Crypt Breaker, and Midnight Reaper are all very, very good for black decks. And then Gilded Goose is just really good in any type of deck. And then if we wanted to go aggro, Isamaru is a great pickup, but Time Warp's just the best card in the pack by a lot. Pack 2 is a lot less powerful. Gonti is probably the most powerful card in the pack. If we had taken Mikaeus, Stonecoil Serpent would be a great pickup. It could still be a great pickup. Conclave Tribunal is good removal, especially if we have a lot of creatures. Mono white here would be the Monument, but I think we're just going to take a Gonti and be pretty happy with that pickup. Hedron Archive, also a very good card. And Overwhelming Splendor, if you can get to 8 mana, is a great way to shut down the opponent's board, especially if you have any X2s. Most powerful card in this pack, in my opinion, would probably be Golos. It's just the ceiling on Golos is very high. If you can get enough fixing and bombs for him, then he's very good. Ashiok Dreamrender, very good in a mill shell. Music in the background provided by Harris Heller Stream Beats. Valor's Stance, very good removal. I think we're just going to take the colorless Golos. It's just pretty good as, you know, a rampant growth in if you can't activate, and then if you can activate, it's just absurd. So we'll take a look and see if we can pick up any off-color fixing. This pack, Godpharaoh's Gift, very good pickup. Good way to reanimate your graveyard. Usher of the Fallen, Selfless Savior, and Beaumont Courier, all very good in aggro. Beanstalk Giant searches your library for any basic land card. Botanical Sanctum's not exactly the type of fixing I'm looking for because it comes into play tapped in the late game. I think we'll take the Beanstalk Giant. It's pretty good if we want to go on the Golos plan. Riverglade Pathway is very good type of fixing, so is Blood Crypt. But I think here we'll just take Oracle of Muldaya and plan on being a more green deck. Half the table saw Oracle and passed it, which means green is probably open on that half of the table. Oracle's probably one of the top 5 green cards, so. Sacred Foundry, very good fixing if we want to stick on our Golos plan. So is Indantha Triome. Plus it fixes us for half of our colors. I think we'll take the Triome here. Blue could just be a light splash. Wilt, also a very good pickup. It's very good in best of 1 because it can deal with artifacts or enchantments, and if the opponent doesn't have any artifact enchantments that you want to deal with, you can cycle it. Doom Foretold, not a bad card, but you really have to build around it, and if you don't draw your Doom Foretold, you're kind of in bad shape, so we'll just take the fixing. This pack is interesting. I always love Mirari's Wake. I believe this is Regrowth. Another one top 5 green cards in my opinion. I think we'll just take the Regrowth. A lot of good lands in this pack. I think we'll take the Bark Channel Pathway. Fixes us for green and blue. Heroic Intervention could be good. And then Turn Timber Symbiosis, another very good green card. Find you any creature in the top 7, I believe. Pack came around. Crypt Breaker, there were 3 good black cards in the pack. Crypt Breaker came back around. Midnight Reaper and Erebus' Intervention were picked up. I think here we'll take the Midnight Clock. It's just a good wheel effect. Plus it ramps you in the early game. Hedron Archive, Mind Stone are both good cards. Tangled is either a land or a ramp, whichever you need it to be. I think we'll take the Mind Stone. We really want to try and ramp into our 4-drops. Mind Stone's a great way to do that. Compulsive Research is fine. Good way to draw some cards. And with Midnight Clock, we're not super worried about throwing stuff away. We'll take Botanical Sanctum here. More good fixing. We might not end up being in black so much, but Gonti is one of the best black cards. Here we get a Riverglade Pathway. It can act as an island, unless we need it to be a mountain for Golos. Bricks, very good. Blue card. Waker of Waves and Stormgate Seacaller. I think we'll take the Waker of Waves. It's a pretty good bomb, plus you can just get rid of it early to have a anticipate type effect. Here, Balagad Recovery is another regrowth effect, plus it can be a land. Finale of Devastation is good if you're in a ramp type shell, which we are not in a ramp shell. Clearwater Pathway, Temple Garden, both very good land pickups. Plainwide Celebration is a very good green card. I think we're going to end up being green-blue base. Take a Clearwater Pathway here. Fixes us for 2 of our colors right now. And I really want to play this Gonti if we can. Shouldred's very good pickup. Temple of Deceit is fine. Fabled Passage is fine. Not super in love with Thoughtseize type effects in this cube, just because everything's so powerful that you'd rather just deal with it once it's on the battlefield. I think here I'm happy to take just a Fabled Passage. Yeah, the land comes into play tapped if it's within your first 4, but it's solid fixing. Allows us to play a couple of basics. Waking the Trolls is a powerful 6-drop. Return of the Wild Speaker. I think here we'll just take a Waking the Trolls. Rada lets us look at the top and play lands from the top, so it's another Moldiah type effect. Scholar of the Lost Trove is pretty good. I think I just like taking Rada, having another Moldiah type effect. Platinum Angel, very nice, lets us not lose the game. Rankle, very powerful 4-drop. I do like the Spider. I think we'll just take a Neutralize. We are shaping up to be a Field of the Dead deck. We've already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different lands. I'll take Field of the Dead. Home of the Host can be very powerful if you can pull it off. I don't like taking temples. I think we could take an Isolated Chapel here and not be too upset about it. This allows a very good removal counterspell. Champion of Wits, though, is just fixing. Temple Garden came around, but I think we want to take this Plainwide Celebration. The versatility on it is just so powerful. If this were a Stomping Ground, I'd be really excited about it. Yeah, we'll take the Temple Garden. Take a Temple of Deceit. Fixes us, and we want to have as many different land types as possible. So we'll take this, but we're not playing it. Aurelius is a good defender. Take the Spider. We definitely don't want to take a colorless land in our deck. Army Lamps is good. Magma Opus. I think we might just want this Fetid Pools. Yeah, I'll take Fetid Pools, it's cycles. Dryad of the Elysian Grove lets us play additional lands. Katria Triome. It's good fixing for us. Fixes for red. Crag Crown Pathway versus Needle Grove Pathway. Probably just want the Crag Crown. Patient Rebuilding's a decent win condition. Trace Tutelage, another good mill win condition. Watery Grave here is pretty good for us. Here I think we just want Swords to Plowshare. Our mana base isn't filled with a ton of white cards, but that's just the best removal spell ever printed. Showdown of the Scald, Quandrix Command, very versatile. Yeah, I think we can get away with the Quandrix Command. I don't think we're going to be able to play this Fabled Passage. Thassa's Intervention is very good. So is Reclamation Stage. I think we'll just take the Thassa's Intervention. Not in love with anything in this pack. Temple of Abandon versus Jillian Harbor. We'll take the Temple of Abandon. So not a bad deck. Unfortunately, we didn't get anything insane to hit off the Golos. Yeah, this looks solid. Well, let's jump in. This is a fine hand. We could use more lands, but fairly happy with it. Lead with Island. Play that out as a black source. Play a green source out. Wait, we get to leave up Quandrix's command. Wow! Look at that, we're getting value. Counter target artifact or enchantment. And return that. Beldar Retreat, just one of the most powerful things that an opponent could do. And then we get to play our Patient Rebuilding. And now we just have to survive. Oh bosh. Let's get a Golos out here and look for a red source. We catch a Triumph. And we will take 6 from Obosh. We would love to draw a white source. Perhaps we should have looked for a white source in the beginning instead of a red source. Get to draw an extra card here. Time Warp draws us a card here. Waking the Trolls. And we're going to Swords this Obosh. Removes a lot of power and toughness off of the board. Let's draw a card off of this. Raelios is going to be a decent blocker for us. We get to leave open double blue for neutralize. Amok Courier. We will counter that. Get to make a 4/4. Champion of Wits. Draws us 2 cards. Lets us play a Rada. We will Compulsive Research. And unless the opponent can dome us for 6, I think we just have lethal here. We're not going to attack. Don't think the opponent can get in for 6 here. So you block that. Block that. Block that. Block that. Mill the opponent out. We'll just send it back to them. And good game. Beautiful. Alright, we've got a keep here on the play. We're going to start with a tapped land here. See what the opponent does on their mulligan. They keep. We'll start with Triumph. Opponent plays a Blast Zone, sends it back. We'll lead on another tap land here and send it back to the opponent again. Forest Bone Splitter, interesting. I haven't seen Bone Splitter in the cube. I didn't think that was really playable. It's probably one of the first playable artifacts that was ever printed. See if the opponent plays a creature to equip this Bone Splitter too. And they've got an Asika, God of the Tree. I'm gonna go ahead and cycle our Due to the Waves, and I think we'll take Watery Grave. Play out this pathway here so that we don't have to damage ourselves. We got Time Walk on top. Regrowth in hand for anything that goes to the graveyard, so we can Time Warp, Regrowth, Time Warp. Pretty good combination of cards. Kiora, Behemoth, Beckner for the opponent. And nothing else. Let's go ahead and pay. Let's see, do we want to draw the Giant? Probably not. So we'll play Golos. The more creatures we have in play when we Time Warp, the better off we're gonna be. Let's see what we can get here. Probably just Field of the Dead is our best draw. And then we have a land on top, it looks like. Let's just get another zombie. So we're rocking and rolling. No attacks. We got Compulsive Research sitting on top. Not too upset about that. Kogla's gonna fight our Golos, I'd imagine. Oracle. Interesting. I believe we can activate Golos. It's probably less effective than time warping. Go ahead and activate, see what we hit. Get land, Mind Stone, Quandrix command. Turn target creature, put 2 counters. Shuffle up to 3 cards from your graveyard. So let's shuffle and put 2 counters on Golos. And we'll actually shuffle all 3 of these back in. We can never draw out. And then let's play out the spider. No attacks here. Send it back to the opponent. Haruga. Opponent's gonna draw a couple of cards here. 3 cards. 4 cards. Damn. Drawing a lot of cards. Opponent has a Garrett's Uprising. So they're definitely getting some value. I imagine they're going to untap their Kogla here. Yep.
I love to make a splash.
They might as well attack, yeah. I get to destroy Golos, but we already got our value out of him. I'll triple block, get rid of it. Doesn't have first strike, so. Waking the Trolls, ooh. See, how much mana? We have 9 mana. 10 mana? 1, 2, 3, 4. Eh. We'll Waking the Trolls. Compulsive Research. Yeah, we can discard 1 land here. And no attacks for us. Vivian Reed from the opponent, so they've definitely got some good value here.
No one said restoration was pain.
They destroy our Waking the Trolls. No. Well, we can always regrowth that back if we want to. Please attack with both. No blocks. Opponent bashes in for 5. And with 10 mana, we can Patient Rebuilding into a Time Warp, into a Regrowth Time Warp, now that we have something to do with our extra mana. No attacks for us. They're hitting Ulamog. That's nice. Search our library here for a basic land. Take Island, make a token. Regrowth the Time Warp. Take an extra turn. For us. No attacks. And we get to mill them again. We draw Waker of the Waves. Let's just play out an 11/11 Beanstalk Giant. We have 5 mana, so we can... Okay. So the opponent... So we were going to play out Aurelius there and hold up Memory Lapse. But the opponent can't beat the 11/11. And we got to keep here. Probably just planning on getting to 3 so we can play Champion of Wits. Is what we're looking like. Opponent plays a land and passes the turn back. Now we want to just Teferi's Tutelage on 3. Clarion Spirit for the opponent. With a 1-drop? With a 1-drop. So we will cycle. Take a 1/2 with reach. Play out the green source. And I think we just want to play the 1/2 with reach so we don't get run over. Get to fight the flyer. Opponent draws their card for turn. Have a blast zone. And we will not block. Opponent decides not to attack with the Dauntless Bodyguard. Ranger of ES draws them 2 1-drops. Hopefully we hit a land here. No land, but we can Champion of Wits to draw 2, discard 2. We miss on a land drop. Well, I think we want to discard Dryad because we're pretty far away from making that work. And Golos because we need a specific color of mana to make that work. And then we're not going to attack. And we're happy trading off with this Champion of Wits because eventually we can eternalize it. Land Selfless Spirit for the opponent. And I imagine they're planning on holding the Giant Killer. So we're going to trade this with Dauntless Bodyguard. And we really need to hit a land here off of the top so that we can get down Oracle of Muldial. Luris. Ugh. We are in bad shape, everybody. I don't know if this is a match we can win. Land off the top, it's a shock land. We'll play it. We'll get down Oracle. No land on top, no attacks from us. Taking a lot of damage here, I don't know that we can win. 2 lands in a row on the top of our library would be a big start. Crusade. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. And we will take 6. And without a couple of lands on top here, I think we just lose. Let's see. We can regrowth the land. Yeah, I think we're just gonna scoop. We're just dead here. Got plenty of colors of mana here, so we're gonna go ahead and keep this guy. Start with the Ketria Triumph. And then our plan is to play the Temple of Deceit on our next turn, which is exactly what the opponent plays here, and they scry. That is a sweet card art. Scry to the top. We will scry to the top as well. Island into Haka Whispering Raven. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, return it to its owner's hand, and then scry 2. Okay. We'll play out a pathway. Search our library for a basic plains. The Isolated Chapel comes into play untapped. And then we will more than likely just Gonti the opponent. Opponent gets in for 2. Returns Haka to their hand. And they scry. top, that's pretty scary. But at least with Gonti, we'll get to see what they chose. One drop. I'm gonna replay Haka. Haka? Haka? They do replay Haka. Finding the old gods will be good once we hit another land. It's Gonti. Take away their top. Lake Claim, Poison the Cup, Omen of the Sea, Island. You may look at and cast that card. So Lake Claim's pretty good. How does Foretell read? During your turn, exile this card from your hand. So we will only be able to pay the 3, but I think that's probably fine. Land for the opponent. They decide to get in for 2 again, which is fine by me. They scribe both to the top again. And they decide not to replay Haka. So we have a choice here. I think we're just gonna swing in for 2 and pass the turn back. Leave up Quandrix Command, leave up Swords, leave up Poison the Cup. Just a whole lot of options for us. I suppose we could play Midnight Clock and have the option to do only one of those things. Erebus' Intervention X2. So that we can put 2/1/1 counters. And return. Trigger a creature to return to its owner's hand. 2/1/1 counters on Gonti. You have to choose 2 modes. I could have let them shuffle. I guess I could have chosen the option for nobody to shuffle, but it's +1/+1 for each card in hand, and each card you own. Each foretold card you own in exile. At the beginning of your end step, choose a card type, then reveal the top 2. Put all cards of the chosen type this way into your hand, the rest on the bottom. In any order. So I think we're just gonna get rid of that. And there's more manas. So that's Waking Controls. Get rid of their temple. Get in for 4. Send it back to the opponent. They foretell a card and let us have the turn. And we get Temple of Deceit. And we will keep a Time Warp. Let's get in for 4 here. And we can Midnight Clock. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And Champion of Wits. We're gonna actually decline to draw 2 and discard 2 because we know we want regrowth and we know we want time. So drawing 2 and discarding 2 would be bad for us on that situation. Sword of Body and Mind for the opponent. That is really, really bad for us. So we're gonna make a bunch of trolls here. 2 trolls. Let's regrowth this Time Warp. Take an extra turn. Get in for a ton. This gives protection from blue and green. Does not give protection from black, so we can poison the cup, the Brineborn Cutthroat. Opponent ought to block here, or they're dead. I suppose they can block next turn. Good game. Okay, opponent gets to go first, and we got to keep here. Opponent plays a tapped land, and we will keep a regrowth. Search for his content for the opponent. Start with another tapped land for us. Opponent decided to keep their card. I think we just go with Midnight Clock here. That way next turn we can get the patient rebuilding down. Assuming the opponent doesn't have counters. Petty Theft are clock. Yeah, you got it. That's fine. Okay, so we'll replay clock. Opponent decides to pitch a Torrential Gearhulk. We'll make a green source here. I think we'll go for Waking the Trolls. Obviously, if the opponent has a counter, they're going to want to use it on that. Ooh, fancy. Forgot about that part of the Protector's shield. Opponent bends a Plains for us. Get a Temple of Deceit. So we get to scry here. Rada is fine, but I think we're gonna bottom her. And we're gonna go for the Big Whale. See if this gets countered. It does not. So I wonder if the opponent has another bounce spell. They have Valorous Stance. Opponent bends a Neutralize. That means they might have more counter magic in their hand. Interesting, I don't know. Choose target opponent. Interesting. Yeah, we will pay 1 for that. We'll play Patient Rebuilding. So opponent bends and Neutralize, but they don't counter Patient Rebuilding. Nothing I really am attached to regrowthing just yet. Especially with us about to pop off this Midnight Clock here pretty soon. Gotta pay 1 every turn. Get to draw a card. First Tutelage. We gotta pay for this one as well. Get rid of Compulsive Research. We're drawing enough cards. And we'll get in for 4 here. 8 here. Opponent cracked their Fabled Passage for a Plains. And they decide not to bin, but to transform. Approach of the Second Sun. Okay. So we've just got to make sure that we mill that before they get to draw it. So it is, there are 6 cards above it. So we'll pay for that. They'll mill 3. We will auto pay. So I'm assuming that was their win condition. We can afford to Champion of Wits and pay. For both cards. Opponent is pretty close to dead. Get in for 6. Realm Cloak Giant destroys all non-giants here, which is fine by me, so we're not winning with damage anyways. So we're gonna pay for a Protector Shield. Mill them 3. Fairy's Protection. Life total can't change. All permanents you control phase out. Okay, so you're dead anyways. And we have a hand here that we will keep. We have spells we can cast and things we can do. Charming Prince for the opponent. Imagine they're gonna scry 2. The opponent scries 1 top, 1 bottom. We're gonna scry that to the bottom. Opponent gets in for 2. Does nothing else. Does this tap for blue? It does not. Let's deal with the Fairy's Tutelage. And Champion of Wits can go to the bin. Lucranos. We're not blocking, so we might as well attack here. Rankle. Gets in. And they're going to not let us draw a card. What a jerk. I think we just get rid of Midnight Clock here. We're going to Beanstalk Giant for a Plains. Temple of Deceit. Land on top. And we're not going to block just yet. Angel of Sanctions to take away our Teferi's Tutelage. To take away our spider? That's wrong. That's gotta be wrong. And again, we have nothing to block that Rankle. Opponent chooses to do nothing there. Play it on the green side. We'll get Golos down. Find us a Field of Ruin. But we are dead in 2 turns. We need a way to deal with these flyers. Gets rid of Golos. That was one of our ways to have an out. Let's see what we draw. Quandrix Command. Turn target creature or planeswalker to its owner's hand. Okay. Well, that's the only out we have. Actually, if they attack with everything, we don't have an out at all. We have a Toski. And I attack with everything, so we're dead. We have a Keep here on the draw. Opponent has a Goose. So we will just play our tap land and say go. Opponent has a Captain Lantern Storm. Good for them. Well, we'll play another tap land and say we draw Time Warp. We're gonna go with Dryad here. Make a land drop. And next turn we're planning on just playing Golos. Shadow Spear equipped to Rada for the opponent. And they can sacrifice 2 treasures to give Captain +2 power, so we're not going to block. We need something pretty good. Spider's not that good. Play Oracle and hope to hit 2 lands on top. That's probably not good enough. So let's just Golos, get our Field of the Dead. And say go. Well, at this point we're not attacking with the Dryad, or we're not blocking with the Dryad, so we should just attack with it. Rishkar's Expertise. They have a Dryad of their own. I don't think there's any way they can pump that. Lightning Strike. Brutal. We drop Beanstalk Giant. Let's play out our Oracle. No land on top. Spider's got a block. But I think we're just dead. No attacks from us. They have Awaking the Trolls of their own. But even if we're not dead here, we lose our board. It's gonna be pretty hard to... Drawing a Mind Stone, the only thing we can do is Time Warp. But even then, I don't know what we could hit that would get us out of this one. I don't think there is anything. We get to take our extra turn. So a disappointing 4 and 3, but overall I think that the deck performed fairly well. Yeah, if you enjoyed, please be sure to hit that like button, comment, and subscribe if you want to. If not, that is perfectly fine. I appreciate the fact that you watched this video. Have a wonderful day.